Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing well today. So in this video, I wanted to discuss the importance and the benefits of using creativity in magic. And that includes spirituality as well, if you don't practice magic. Now, I think creativity is something that's very much overlooked, and it's something that is a huge asset and a huge benefit to people who choose to tap into their creativity. Now, along the same lines as creativity, there is also curiosity, and that ties into it because the more creative you are, the more you can look at things in a kind of a curious way and interpret things in a variety of ways as well. So, like for me, I work with Santa Muerte, I do channeling, and sometimes I will channel information about, say, the green aspect. But because I think in a very creative way, and I'm always asking questions and wondering about things, I end up asking myself different questions like, does Santa Muerte have a green aspect? Does she have a light green? Does she have a dark green, a forest green, an olive green? Does she have a malachite, a jade? Does she have an emerald? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. She has so many aspects, and some of them are very small and minor aspects, but nobody would have known about it because nobody thought to ask the question. And I'm not saying I'm the only person who's ever asked about these particular aspects, but as far as I know, I've never seen anyone discuss these aspects online or in any book. So as far as I'm concerned, I might be the first person, but I won't take credit if, it's not true. But by having the curiosity and the creativity to kind of come up with all these other possibilities, and then following through with my magical practice, that helps me to learn about new things. Because if I didn't have the curiosity and the creativity to wonder about these other things, I never would have asked, so I never would have known. I think that creativity is such a valuable skill, because it is a skill. I think the more you use your creativity, the more naturally it comes to you, and the more ways it can kind of show up in your life, because everyone is so different from one another, and we each have our own different wellspring of creativity that we can tap into. And when it comes to magic and spirituality, I think it can show up in a variety of ways that can bring a lot of benefit to your daily or your spiritual practice. For example, with prayer, if you are somebody who utilizes prayer in your practice, it could occur to you to maybe pray in a different kind of way. So if a prayer specifically asks for you to pray, or if you're having money problems, it might occur to you to pray in a different way. You might get a little bit creative and focus on ways of coming up with solutions to the problem in a different way. So you might tackle problems in a different way, whereas the typical person might just simply pray to have more money come to them. It might occur to you to maybe pray for a way to make the money you have stretch further, to make better decisions that will impact your money further down the line, to come up with something that will bring in more money for you. Different creative ways of tackling a problem, wherein other people or sometimes books or online sources can kind of give you one point of reference for dealing with an issue. And I think the more creative you are and the more creatively you approach your magic and your practice, the more variety of solutions and different methods for dealing with different things you'll come across. And the more you kind of tap into this creative energy and the more you kind of utilize it in your practice, you will really be able to be more expansive in how you deal with things, how you look at situations, and how you choose to react to different things that come up into your life, both good or bad. Now, I'm someone who's naturally extremely creative. I like a lot of colorful things, I like silly things, I like whimsical things, lighthearted things. I know that I normally kind of show myself as kind of more serious, and I usually speak very monotone on my channel, but in reality I am a very silly person. I have a very active imagination, very vivid imagination, and my inner world is very colorful and very creative, and I don't take life too seriously. I've had a lot of bad experiences, so it kind of forces me to show up in a certain way, but I'm still trying to break out of that and kind of be more in touch with myself and who I am authentically. Now, my creativity is something that's very important to me, and it has shown up in my magical practice. When I read tarot, I come up with brand new tarot spreads. I have so many ideas for tarot decks. I have so many ideas for different kinds of rituals that I can write and create on my own. Sometimes I think things that may take other people very long to come up with in regards to writing out prayers or ideas, some of that stuff comes very naturally to me, so I can just do it right away. And I think it is something that is a talent, and I think it's also a skill. And I think, like I said before, it's something that can be learned and something that can be honed and built upon. So don't think that you aren't creative. If you don't consider yourself creative, if you feel like you don't have that much imagination, don't think you just have it or you don't. It's absolutely something that you can build upon. With some types of magic, there is a very specific way of doing it, a very specific way of performing a ritual, and you would be best, and it would be very wise to adhere to that ritual word for word. But in other kinds of magic that's more open to interpretation, like with sigil magic or something like that, or when you're just crafting your own spells, the sky really is the limit, and you can really do so much. When you realize how much more magic you can do just by being resourceful, you will realize that everything around you is a potential tool for magic, and something that you can potentially use to kind of boost up your practice. Now, when writing your own spells and rituals, tap into your creativity and utilize anything you want to. This isn't a video about how to create your own spells. Maybe I'll do one of those in the future. What I'm trying to impress upon all of you is that when it comes to imagination and spirituality, you really can do almost anything. Now, this isn't one of my regular kind of scripted videos. Usually I try to write at least a basic outline. This one is just me talking off the top of my head. I knew I wanted to film something, and I had been meaning to film something for the past few days, but really I was just taking it easy because I've been going through a lot of stuff, in my regular job, my 9 to 5, and it's been totally burning me out lately, and only now I'm trying to kind of fix that and alleviate some of that tension. So I'm glad to be back here filming again. I think for any practitioner or magician or sorcerer or witch or whatever label you choose to put upon yourself, whatever it is, I think that creativity is an important tool in the witch's toolbox, and it's definitely not something to be overlooked. Imagination, creativity, visualization, and kind of thinking of stuff off the top of your head, sometimes winging it will take you further than following a very rote list of routines, a very specific list of steps to follow. And I think by listening to our intuition, we can really get a feel for how it is we want to approach a prayer, a ritual, a rite. So just remember that you have the ability to create your own rituals, to write your own spells, to utilize your environment and all of the tools and resources available to you to help boost up your practice, to help inform your work, and to help kind of lift up your magic to the next level. Now, this is just more of a kind of a chatty, off the top of my head type of a video. There's not really a deep purpose to this particular video. This is just me just sharing some general thoughts about the idea of creativity and magic. It's not very hashed out, and I'll probably think of more things that could have included after I'm in the editing process of this video. But for now, I just want you to remember to approach everything you do with a little bit of creativity, and you might be surprised if you choose to act on some of those creative impulses when it comes to how you show up in your practice. And remember that if you aren't necessarily someone who considers themselves to be imaginative or creative, you absolutely can be. It's just about different ways of approaching it, tapping into it, and learning how to access that creativity. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, give it a like. If you want more videos like this, then by all means subscribe. If you want to support the channel, I have links to that in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one. Take care.
turn on.